It's Mickey D TV, and this is my 2018 Minnesota Vikings season game number 4 review and analysis, in which the Minnesota Vikings played at LA, Los Angeles, in California against the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football. And unfortunately, as I predicted though, at the end of the game, the Rams won this game by a score of 38-31. Now, like I was talking about the last game with the Buffalo Bills, I said every team from now on will be analyzing the Bills game on how to beat the Vikings defense. And probably, when I think about it, they can probably go back to the Philadelphia Eagles game in the NFC Conference game, because the Eagles pretty much had the Vikings defense number as well. So if I was the next team, well, we know who's playing the Vikings next. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. They know how to beat this defense. You can probably predict what my next video will be on my prediction on who's going to win that game. But let's talk about this game, and hopefully I won't talk too much about this game. Basically, the defense is struggling, and it's struggling big time. And if this coach of ours is supposed to be a great defensive coach, then a great defensive coach would know how to adjust his defense when you miss a player that's gone for whatever reason. And he hasn't found the solution for that. And I don't think he's found. And even when Everson Griffin was in the game against the Packers, I think he was in the game against the Packers. Maybe not. I'm not too sure. But even then, Everson Griffin was in the game against the Eagles. He doesn't have an answer for what's going on with this defense. And I think teams have finally figured out Mike Zimmer's defense and his strategy and his tactics. And it's not working anymore. I don't know what else to say. If I just have a feeling they're going to get clobbered a lot. Or at least their defense is going to do horrible every game. And I think teams have figured it out. So, anyways, let's go through some highlights in the game. The Vikings offense did score a lot of points. Kind of was in the game. I guess you could say they were within, there was a chance they could have won this football game for all intents and purposes. But that didn't happen. Offensively, there were some good points, but there were some bad points. Well, let's start out with Kirk Cousins. All right, Kirk Cousins finished the game 36 out of 50 passing. That's a lot of passing attempts. And even though that's a pretty good percentage of completed passes, I just don't like that 50 figure. That indicates that, well, yeah, it definitely indicates that they were losing throughout most of this game. They had to play catch up, and they resorted to their passing game too quickly. I mean, he had 422 yards passing with 3 TDs, quarterback rating of 85.4, and he had 1 fumble, which isn't good either. So, I mean, these passing stats would be great if we were winning. These passing stats would be awesome if our defense was awesome and we were winning football games. But these passing stats right here are basically forced stats in which you're trying to come from behind in this game. And another thing, we don't have a running game. Our leading rusher was Kirk Cousins with 28 yards rushing. So that's another huge factor that's going into why we're losing these games. Otherwise, our next leading rusher was Dalvin Cook. He had 20 yards rushing in that game. That's it. And he wasn't really involved in the passing game that much. And I believe he's hurt. Again, he's listed as questionable. He hasn't been practicing much this week. And I didn't watch much of the game when they played Thursday night. I didn't even realize they were playing on Thursday night. But if anything, I suspect the injury is affecting Dalvin Cook. But that shouldn't affect all of the running. The whole running game is just horrendous. And if you can't get a running game, I don't care how great your passing game is, you're going to lose football games. And that's what happened here. And I know Dalvin Cook's been hurt. I don't know what to do with him. I don't. I know this guy has the talent. The question is he going to be one of those running backs that's always hurt? And that bothers me because if he's always hurt, then you have to look to somebody else to fill in. Receiving wise, Adam Thielen had 8 receptions for 135 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. And then Stephon Diggs, same 2 guys in the top for wide receiving. Stephon Diggs, 11 receptions for 123 yards. And then a new Viking who has played with other teams before, but is with the Vikings this year, Aldrick Robinson had 2 receptions. I might be wrong on that 2 receptions. It might have been 3. But he had 33 yards receiving with 2 TD passes or TD catches. So that was pretty cool to see some other wide receiver getting in. And we need, besides our tight end Kyle Rudolph in the game, we need another wide receiver to be a part of this offense. It'd be great if there was like a third option or well, the third option is probably Kyle Rudolph. It'd be great to have a great fourth option, and if Aldrick Robinson can fit in, that'd be great. The offensive line, the Minnesota Vikings offensive line, this is another reason why I think they lost the football game. The offensive line gave up 4 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 7 passes defended, and 8 QB hits. That's a lot of hits on the QB, and that's a lot of sacks on the QB, and that's unacceptable in this offensive line. I haven't seen any really great improvement with this offensive line, and this is another thing that's been a problem with this team, is like we've never had a consistent offensive line, and that's been a big problem as well. So those are the two things on the offensive side why we lost the game. Special teams, I'll just mention quickly. Our new kicker, Dan Bailey, was 3 of 3 on field goals and 2 out of 2 on extra points. We had to do some 2-point conversions to try to catch up in this game, so he didn't get that many opportunities for extra points. But Dan Bailey was dead on perfect in this game. So hopefully this will be the answer to our kicking woes. And then on defense, this is the other, like I've obviously said before, our defense is a huge part of why we lost this game. Basically, I mean, if you look at the defense, they gave up 465 yards passing and 100 yards rushing. That's over 500 yards giving up during the game. That's not good. There's something wrong with this defense, and I don't know if it was great because it was a scheme that worked for a while and then teams finally figured it out. And now we're losing because we don't have that much talent on the team on the defensive side of the ball. That's a possibility. Excuse me. Or we do have the talent, but we don't have the brains on the head coaching side of things to be able to adjust the defense and be able to counteract what other teams are doing to our defense. And I don't think that's going to happen. Mike Zimmer is not a great coach, like I said before. He's not a smart coach, and he's not a good coach when it comes to adversity. And there's a lot of adversity on this team, and we're going to continue to lose, unfortunately. So that will be it for my review of this game. Like I said, the Los Angeles Rams beat the Minnesota Vikings 38-31. The Rams are a great team too. I mean, they're 4-0 now. I mean, they're a team to watch out for in the NFC conference. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll give you my prediction later this weekend. Skol Vikings!